Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar about plasma and corona treatment in the automotive industry. We are very happy that so many have decided to join us today, so thank you for that. What we have on the program now is that I will just make a very short presentation about Tantech, so you know a little more about the company and what we're doing. And then afterwards our colleague from the US, Jeff, will make a presentation and talk about his experiences in the automotive industry and also about the different machines we have specialized for the industry. And then after that we will have a Q&A. So if you have any questions or thoughts that you didn't get answered during the presentation, then please write them down or write them in the comments. Then we will take them in the Q&A after the presentation. Just a little about Tantech, very short. We have been existing for almost 50 years. We have 50 years anniversary next year. And we have been working with surface treatment from the beginning and plasma and corona. So we have a large experience within plasma and corona, and also we have been working with both, meaning we have open air plasma, we have vacuum plasma, we have corona in different ways. Meaning we are able to deliver the solution that fits best in your production and for your product. So that's a big advantage that we can choose the optimal solution. And today we're going to talk about automotive, which is one of our biggest industries. We are delivering a lot to automotive, both within vacuum and open air and corona. So it's a very exciting industry for us. We are today present in more than 30 countries all over the world. In Denmark, we have our head office, where we deliver from to some of the local countries also. Then in the US, we have Jeff and his colleagues, which are covering both sale and service in the US. And in the rest of the countries, we have very skilled partners that can deliver both sales and service. So that's the way we cover all over the world. In-house, we are both developing, producing and assembling. And because of the development we have been in for many years, we are just here in May opening a new extra production facility where we are having production and also tests and so on. So it will be a completely new state-of-the-art production line from us here in Denmark also. So we are looking very much forward to that. Just to sum up, before Jeff goes on, I would like to show you a small Tantech movie. It will be around 1 minute or so, and then it just gives a little visual idea of what we are doing and how it looks here. And then after the video, Jeff will go on with the presentation and his experiences about machines for the automotive industry. And again, after that, we will have the Q&A. So we'll see you to the Q&A. Thank you.
At Tantech, we consider ourselves as a close-knit team with big achievements. We know that our solutions make a difference in the daily operations of your industry, which is why Tantech sets our standards high when it comes to reliability and efficiency. This has made Tantech the top manufacturer of ready-made plasma and corona systems. We also know that your industry is always progressing forward, and so should our solutions. As a result, innovation is a big part of what we do at Tantech, and we've been doing it since 1974. With more than 4,000 custom surface treatment solutions delivered over the past 40 years, our standards must and are continually being raised when it comes to maintaining our reputation as innovation leaders. That's why our solutions are so appreciated, and we are able to offer improved, more reliable results when it comes to coating, bonding, wetting, printing, painting, and cleaning. Headquartered in Denmark with our own US office and represented in 30 countries, we deliver worldwide solutions to both end users and OEMs. So no matter where you are, we are always close by and able to offer that ready or custom-made solution your company needs. Tantech, a better way to solving your adhesion problems.
Welcome to Tantech's webinar on the automotive industry. My name is Jeff Gratis. I run the Tantech office in North America. We do all the sales and service out of our Chicago facility. Today's webinar will be touching on plasma and corona in the automotive industry. A lot of low surface energy plastics are used in automotive to help reduce weight in the automobile, but that in turn results in difficulty with adhesion, coating, and printing on these surfaces. Corona and plasma is commonly used in the automotive industry to help remove and eliminate the need for expensive and dangerous primers as well as flame treatment. As you might have experienced yourselves already, it's really difficult to get glues, inks, and coatings to stick to these plastics, and we'll touch on some of the experiences Tantech has had in the past to help improve this and provide additional value add to your products. So this slide here is going to go over why surface treatment is used and how to solve some of the adhesion problems. So one of the advantages that plasma and corona provides for you are even and uniform treatment across a three-dimensional object. This can be achieved with both atmospheric plasma, vacuum plasma, and corona treatment. It really all depends on the manufacturing process, the design, the technology, and the setup that we build into the system to ensure you get good quality uniform treatment across the entire part. This all starts and gets developed through the initial investigation phase to find out where on the part you need the treatment, how you're processing the parts, to see how a Tantech system can be implemented. As we just mentioned, we can treat specific locations on the part, or we can treat the entire part, and that will really determine which technology makes the most sense. Vacuum plasma, in many cases, designed to treat the entire part all across the entire surface, where corona or plasma might be a more focused and specific treatment area. Larger parts are typically done in a vacuum chamber, where you can put the entire part inside, press a button, and the entire part is treated. We can do larger surfaces as well with corona. Again, this is all determined during the investigation phase, finding out what makes the most sense for your application, how you're handling the parts, and we don't want to disrupt too much of your production process. We can also do cleaning on the surface as well. This is typically done with our atmospheric plasma system. This system is developed to provide a very high intensity ionized air blown out onto the surface. During this process, the combination of heat, air, and ions will actually clean off micro-contaminants or organics from the surface, resulting in a nice surface to go ahead and bond to or print onto. One of the questions we're posed very regularly is, what does this do to my material? Does it affect the shape, size, integrity of the part? Corona and plasma surface treatment is a micro treatment, meaning we're just treating the top layer molecule of the plastic or metal in this case. So we don't really affect the surface of the part beyond that top layer. So the integrity of the part, the size of the part, the shape of the part is not affected by this treatment. The only thing we're doing is providing bonding sites to allow the glue or the coating or the adhesive to go ahead and stick better. So if you imagine plastic materials, the molecules are very tightly bonded together. What we're doing with surface treatment is trying to open up bonding sites. So you've got these microscopic peaks and valleys that allow your glue, coating, or ink to go ahead and wet out and attach itself to the surface. Another area that the corona and plasma provides a great deal of value is it's cost effective. Overall, on a typical day, you might be using electricity and a little bit of air in order to run one of our systems. So you're talking about only spending dollars per day to run a Tantech system, as opposed to a chemical primer or a natural gas solution with flame. The natural gas costs add up throughout the day, as well as the heat generated in the plant. And when it comes to primers and alternative gluing solutions, they tend to get rather expensive and very, very costly to run on a daily basis. These systems are also environmentally friendly, meaning we don't have any VOCs or those types of controls that we need to worry about that you tend to find with primers. VOCs are being outlawed from state to state, and regulations are becoming more stringent on that area. So please let us know if we can help with a corona or plasma solution that is certainly much more environmentally friendly. So some of the typical parts and applications we come across for the automotive industry, one of the big areas is interior trim parts. This is a product that typically is wrapped or coated in some way, and we've had a lot of success with interior trim parts in vacuum plasma, where these parts are then taken into a rack system, put inside the chamber, the door is closed, pressing a button. 3 to 5 minutes later, the entire surface is treated, which allows for proper wrapping and gluing of this part. As you might imagine, when you're manufacturing a nice high-end automobile, the last thing you want are interior trim parts peeling back or delaminating and resulting in warranty recalls or customer complaints. The other area, obviously, exterior parts. A lot of work with headlights, grills, door handles, side mirrors, just trying to adhere or glue specific areas as opposed to mechanically fastening. And again, in a lot of these cases, we're removing a primer process here to allow that part to go ahead and glue and stick to the door better, or the handle, or maybe a grill. Headlight sealing is very important with foam in place gasket. So we're making sure the integrity of the part lasts the length of the automobile. Another area that we've had some success in as well is using atmospheric plasma to treat powertrain parts. One of the things that we've seen in the industry is the move away from gaskets to more of a sealant being put down over the sealing area of the part. This is typically done with an atmospheric plasma that's passed over the surface, creating those functional groups on the surface and also cleaning the metal so that that sealer has the ability to go ahead and lock on and create a nice seal to provide any risk of leaking or anything along those lines. Another area that we've had some success in is profiles, EPDM profiles. So the coating and flocking process that's done on these to ensure that they're protected in the environment of heat and sunlight over the life of the car. We want to make sure these EPDM profiles don't become brittle and start to flake off. So flocking and coating is typically done here. Prior to that, we run a atmospheric plasma through the extrusion process. Parts are extruded, pass through, they're treated on the areas that are receiving the flock or the coating, so that this way when they're installed in the car, those areas that are coated are now protected in the installation process so that the material lasts the life of the automobile. Other areas we've had success in, obviously the introduction of safety features, front-facing cameras, rear-facing cameras, specialty mirrors, all of those areas where we're able to go ahead and apply a plasma or corona process to ensure the integrity of the adhesion to the surface that it's working on. As you might imagine, with the safety features that are built into these, it's very, very critical that they maintain a certain level of standard so that they can pass the stringent tests that the automotive industry is looking for. So this image you see on the slide here is a front grille cover. This is a part that has been treated prior to painting. And typically what's done with something like this is either a flame treatment or a primer if they have not gotten into a plasma or corona process. This can be done with both atmospheric plasma, vacuum plasma. Typically the entire part will be placed inside of a chamber, or an atmospheric plasma would then go across the surface in a robotic application to help improve the surface energy of these parts to improve the paint adhesion on a grille of this size. We talked a little bit about the automotive interior trim parts, and you can see a door panel here where there's a lot of parts that are going to be wrapped and glued. This is typically done again in a vacuum plasma based system. But another area that this touches on as well is if you want to seal this panel to the door itself, the backside, we can then go ahead and treat the perimeter panel where you would then dispense a foam in place gasket or some sort of adhesive into the channel itself to then go ahead and mount and glue against the door. This helps prevent water or moisture getting in between the panels and improving the integrity and life of the part itself. And we did talk a little bit about EPDM profiles. So these are some of the profiles that we've worked with over the years. Again, this is all about flocking and coating, flocking for the inside of the car and coating for the outside of the car to prevent against UV and heat extremes to ensure that this rubber material doesn't flake or become brittle over the life of the automobile. These are just a few of the applications that we work with. We certainly have the ability to take on multiple challenges in terms of three-dimensional objects, different types of materials. It's just best to reach out to us and get some information from you in order to understand what your struggle is and how Tantech can help. And this video here is going to simply show the before and after dyne test. This is a basic surface energy measurement process What we're doing here is simply showing what a treated and untreated surface would look like. Typically with a plasma or corona surface treatment, you can't physically see any change to the part with the naked eye. You need this type of solution or potentially a contact angle solution to go ahead and measure the surface energy change, as well as obviously doing a functional test at the end to ensure that it's achieving the results you're looking for. Surface energy measurements are a fantastic way to determine that you've made a change to the surface, but ultimately doing your functional test is the right way to determine if that change in energy equates to the value add that you're looking for. So there are multiple technologies that Tantech works with in the automotive sector. One of the most popular is our atmospheric plasma system. Reason for this is it's typically following a dispense process. It can be very, very robot friendly, simply mounted on, following a predetermined path that your glue or your dispense of a gasket is then placed onto. Extremely user-friendly, very, very easy to operate, low cost, running on electricity and some compressed air, provides a great deal of value in terms of cleaning and surface treatment to a very, very high number in terms of dyne level. It's also used for the EPDM profiles. This is typically done on an extrusion line, so we can put multiple heads inside of a machine treating the extrusion as it goes by in the various areas that the coating needs to be done. We can also look at our vacuum plasma as a very popular product for the automotive industry as well. Reason being is a lot of the parts are large and complex in size, shape, and geometry. Not all the time are we focusing on a small area, we might be focusing on a larger area, and putting these parts inside of a chamber ensures that the parts are treated 360 degrees in a rather short period of time. Typically when people hear vacuum plasma, they get a little concerned because it's batch process, so they're worried about timing. Tantech typically can make a system that's large enough to ensure that we maintain your cycle time, or we can also look at our vacuum line, which is an automated or semi-automated vacuum plasma process. Parts are moved on a conveyor, the chamber doors open, part moves into a conveyor inside the chamber, the doors close, treatment takes place, doors drop down, part goes out to the exit conveyor at that point. What's great about this type of system, it provides complete process control. If the part entered the chamber and came out the chamber, that means the part was completely treated. If the part does not come out of the chamber, you have to check the Tantech system to see why the system did not allow the part to go through. So you can feel confident that once a part enters and comes out, it's been fully treated at that point. And then we do have some Corona-based systems as well. Our Tech is a very, very popular product for treating very, very specific areas for printing or gluing unique geometry parts in an inline process, or maybe even built onto a XYZ gantry type system. So Tantech has a variety of different technologies and systems available for treating different parts and applications. Please reach out to us. We can certainly help explain the different options you may have. There's certainly a good possibility that there's more than one option that can fit your process, fit your budget, and fit your overall expectations. So we've got a few cases here for you that we'll be able to send over to you after the webinar is over, talking a little bit about some of the chambers that have been provided in this particular case. This was provided to Grupo Antolin doing interior trim parts. As you can see, these are a large vacuum-based chamber with drawers on them. So the system allows for the operator to pull the drawer out, set the parts, push the drawer in, and then there's an auto door present that comes down to go ahead and close and seal off the door. The pumping takes place after about a minute and a half or so. The plasma will then ignite inside the chamber. Usually customers will run for 1 to 1.5 minutes inside the chamber, treating the entire part 360 degrees while it's sitting inside the chamber. Once repressurization takes place, then the door opens and the parts are able to be removed and sent on to their next process. This system here, you'll be able to check out this case study as well. This is what we call our profile tech. This is using our atmospheric plasma system in an extruded line, typically done on an EPDM profile or some sort of pipe or cabling that's used in the automotive industry, where we need to treat the exterior in various locations. So what's great about this system is the nozzles will come in a configuration of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, up to 20 nozzles that you can then go ahead and simply adjust and put into position where you want the treatment to take place. It's a very, very quick, easy system to use. Once the extrusion begins moving, the plasma turns on. When your extrusion stops, the plasma turns off. Provides a great deal of improvement on the surface energy, as well as cleaning the part on a microscopic level as well as it passes through the plasma process. Now we'll go ahead and show an animation video on our vacutech system, and then I'll turn it over to our team for additional question and answer as this webinar finalizes here.
Thank you, Jeff, for this presentation and for you to share your experiences within the automotive industry. So now we will go to Q&A. During the presentation, we already had a few questions. So if you have extra, then please write them in the chat. But I will just start with the ones that already came in. The first one is, what is the treatment time in a vacutech? And to that, it's a little difficult to give a fixed number, but normally on plastic parts, the treatment time is somewhere between 30 and 90 seconds, depending on the parts and so on. Then, of course, you have a pump down time on the vacuum to go in vacuum, and that depends on the pump you have. And how much you have invested in the pump and what size it has. But I would say a rough totally treatment time with pump down, treatment, etc. It's between 1 minute and 3 minutes in general. So yeah. Then we have one more regarding vacutech. It's about the chamber size. As I understand the question, then it's about how large we can build the chambers for customized solutions. And to that, I can say that the largest one we have built for now, it's about 3 cubic meters. But I would not say there are any limits on how big we can build it. It's just depending on, we will make the construction to fit the size of the chamber. And then, of course, it will also require some large pumps because it takes quite a lot to go down in vacuum when you have a large chamber. But in general, there are no limits, and we have different size and shapes on the customized solutions also. Then there is a question regarding the profile tech. Let me just see. What is the advantage in your system compared to others? I would say in general, there is, of course, we think there are a lot of advantages, but one of them is that it's a very compact system. Our nozzles and the plasma don't require any large cooling system, and the generators, they are quite small. So we have it all built as a standard on the machine, and it don't take much space. That's one advantage. And then the heat, we don't need any cooling. The generators, the cables, etc., don't have any really heat, so you don't have any temperature issues in our system. Then we're also very flexible on the sizes. You can have it for just with one adjustment, maybe with 4 heads and up to 20 or even more if needed. So we are very flexible in customized solutions depending on what you need for your production and for your product. That was some of the advantages. Another one can be that we are able to have very long cables to the nozzle, meaning if for some reason you don't have the space for it, we don't need to have the generators hanging on the system. We can have them placed where it fits best for you, and then only the nozzle will be visible in the production. So very flexible in that way also. That was some of the advantages compared to others. So I don't know if you have other questions than these three.
Yeah, here is Ismael. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, here is Ismael from Standard Profile.
Hello.
Hello. So we use plasma for EPDM profiles, okay? And I have a couple of questions, okay? What is the recommended distance to the profile, okay? And how can I evaluate the quality of the plasma just by looking at the plasma, how the plasma is shocking on the profile, okay? And if there's another way to measure the effectiveness of the plasma than the ink test, because the ink test, when the profile has a lot of temperature, the ink evaporates, and I cannot appreciate. I cannot tell the difference. Cannot see the result of the test.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Taking the first one first is the distance. Normally, the distance would be between 3 and 6 millimeters, depending on. Normally, it's not so. If it's 4 or 5 millimeters, it's not changing the treatment that much. So I would say normal between 4 to 6 millimeters distance normally. And then on the how to measure if it works. The first I would have said is using a dyne pen, but as you said, there can be some challenges in this way. Of course, in the end, how it fits, how good the surface treatment works is how is the end product. How does it stick to your product afterward when you have given it the next treatment after the treatment. So that's of course the best test, to have a test with tape or whatever you want to make sure that it's stick. But to measure the surface just after a treatment, if you don't want to use the dyne pens, then we use also contact angle measurements, and we use Krüss from Germany.
No, but I mean something to be used at the moment of adjustment.
Okay, so inline the product.
During the process, yeah. Something. Okay, because the pens or the bottles with the ink and the brush works well if the temperature of the profile is low. But some of our coatings need more temperature. We get better result with more temperature. So there the ink is not valid because it evaporates very quickly.
Yeah, I will have to check that, because then of course if you want to measure it directly after the treatment, then it's not easy to use a Krüss. I can see. I thought it was just to treat, cut a piece, and test that one. But if you want to measure it directly, then I just have to check if there are other ways we can do this when it's directly in the production. So I will just find out and I will get back to you with that if it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. But it seems there are no other questions right now. But if you have any questions afterwards, please contact me directly, email or call, and we can have a talk about it. And if not, then we'll stop for now. So thank you for joining, and please contact us with any questions. And have a nice day to all of you.
Okay, thank you very much. See you.
See you. Thank you. Bye.